flick fans, and welcome back to my channel. Today is a very special video, one I've been looking forward to, and that is our, not just mine, our official ranking or tier list ranking of the Joker performances. So we're not necessarily focusing on the movie, we are talking strictly their performance, and this is a theatrically release-based tier list, so none of the DC animated features, and because Mark Hamill was in Mask of the Phantasm, that counts as a theatrical release, as well as Batman 1966 with our other older Joker on there. And today I'm not alone, I'm joined by Chris from 3C Films, because I'm in Dallas. Chris, how you doing, man? You excited for this?
Yeah, I'm excited too, especially after seeing the Joker and stuff, and where I think we have maybe some agreeing and disagreeing opinions here, but yeah, I've never done a tier list, so this will be fun, Austin. We'll
First
see how
time,
it goes. I don't know how you do a combined tier list, but I think you should have gave me my own tier list, I'm just saying.
We're going to figure this out as we go. So there's going to be a lot of discussion. Like he said, we're going to agree, we're going to disagree, but we're going to roll through these things. And of course, I need your comments down below letting me know, what is your Joker ranking? Who's your favorite? Who's your least favorite? I would love to see that. And go follow 3C Films on YouTube. One of the best out there, man. One of the best. And thank him for hosting me this entire week. So let's get into this, Chris, man. We've got some Jokers to talk about, and we're going to start with kind of the most obscure in a way, and that is Zach Galifianakis as the Joker in the Lego Batman movie. So some quick thoughts. What are your thoughts? Because this is one I don't have a read on you how you feel about this Joker. So how do you feel about him?
If you're basing your tier list off of performances, this one and probably Hamill will be the most difficult to decide because it's voice performance. And some might think a voice performance is easy. If you got the growl, if you got the laugh, performance should be nothing because you're just handing out your voice.
For sure.
And with the Lego Batman movie, I think they did a fantastic job in appealing to Batman fans, and so many Easter eggs and references and that dynamic they had with Zach Galifianakis. I think he did a great job. I think he did good, but I am having trouble remembering his Joker laugh, and that to me is an important Joker factor. When you have a new Joker, other than what he'll look like and his demeanor, it's the laugh.
Ooh.
And if I can't remember your laugh, I don't think it's that good. So I'm going to go with meh.
You're going to go with meh?
With meh.
Wow. Okay. All right. You know, I'm close. I'm close to you. I think I'm a bit higher on him because... And it's more of the movie, right? I really enjoy the Lego Batman movie, and I think the shining moment, the shining beacon for that film is the relationship between Batman and the Joker, because we've never really seen a performance or a dynamic between those two characters like this before, because it was obviously a satire. It was obviously a play on how they act in the bigger and the tougher movies. But then again, I'm kind of with you on Zach Galifianakis', you know, his laugh and even his Joker voice. It kind of sounded like Zach Galifianakis.
Just sounded like him.
I was thinking the okay tier. So there's going to be some sort of... We have to come to a compromise here, Chris.
All right.
What are you thinking? Do you think... Because I have trouble with putting it on Mad just because I do like the movie so much, and that relationship is so integral to it. And I think if you would have gotten a lackluster Joker, then it's like, oh, well, the movie didn't really work. I think it worked because of that. Yeah. But then again, I can't go higher than okay because you brought up a great point with the laugh, man.
I can't hear it right now.
Oh,
I'm sure maybe it was gray. I'll find a YouTube clip afterwards and stuff.
Yeah.
Mez just because of that, because it's just that memorability he brought to it. And the most I remember from it, it was even in the trailers, was the moment where the Batman, he says, I forget what he says to him, but he says, like, we're not friends, or I don't love you, and then he just has that sad look of like, I thought we were friends. That's the most I remember from this Joker. So that's why I go Matt, but if you want to go okay, I'm willing to bump it up to okay.
You're willing to bump it up to okay?
I'm willing to bump it up okay. I'm not going to fight you here.
Honestly, originally, before we even started this video, I was thinking good. And then you brought up the memorability point, so I did kind of go down to okay. So I think we've kind of settled on the okay tier. So that is where I am placing this version of the Joker. But you bring up great points, man. It is kind of a lackluster, the Joker elements, like what makes him great, bit lackluster in that field. So that is our first Joker out of the way, and we move on to
Cesar Romero.
Cesar Romero. Now, a lot of you may be like, Who's that? Well, he was the Joker from the 1960s iteration of the Batman, and in the 66 movie, of course, which is why he's on this list. I'm interested to see what are your thoughts on this version of the Joker?
Even though I wasn't a frequent watcher, or barely even a watcher of the television series, I did partake in watching the one that went theatrically. Okay. That was one of the movies.
Okay.
And as a kid, or even as a teenager, you think this is just a silly, nonsensical, whimsy, a kid's plaything of a Joker.
Okay.
But I started to see some clips of this man and what he does, and this is as accurate as almost as you can get to the original Joker.
All right.
In the comics. And Cesar Romero handled that perfectly, and even a madman who will paint his mustache white instead of just shaving it off. And not only that, this is probably separate. If you see actual interviews of the man, he is so calm, well-spoken, speaks like he's drinking wine.
True.
And then you see his performance, that's gangbusters right there. So I am going to have to go ahead and let me see them again, them tears, Austin. I'm going to have to go with good.
You're going to go good?
I'm going to go good.
You're going to go good. I'm right there with you.
Okay.
I'm right there on good. Originally, I was thinking a bit more okay, but the more you talk about how he he disappears into the role, because if you know how he acts in real life compared to what he does in this series, which, it is pure just throwback, what Batman used to be, what people looked at him, more Schumacher-esque Batman, but you go back and this adapts it, accepts it way better than the George Clooney Batman movie did, right? So I think this tone works with this Joker, and man, he really is just the craziest incarnation of the Joker. He and Mark Hamill, I think the two craziest we've ever seen. So I'm right there with you. I'm going to agree with you, and I'm going to say this Joker deserves to be the first one on the good tier.
I'll end up adding, just to end it, when we're talking about these Jokers, I also think to myself, which one would I be afraid to be alone in a room with?
Ooh.
And even though I really appreciate Cesar Romero's, I don't think I'd be afraid in a room with him.
Yeah.
I would just be like, man, this guy's just odd. So I for that reason alone, he doesn't make it higher.
Yes.
Performance-wise, great. But some of these other guys, I would do anything else but be in a room with them.
And that's a big thing, too, is we are kind of comparing to some of the best performances I've ever seen. So it's really hard to live up. And the fact that we have two Jokers that aren't even on that iconic status yet, that are on two solid tiers, that's pretty impressive, man. So let's move on to one that I think resonates with a lot of people. This is Mark Hamill's Joker. Now, it's hard not to just soak everything in that he's done, but let's kind of focus on Mark Hamill in Batman the Animated Series, because that's what he does in this movie, right?
Yeah.
What are your thoughts on Mark Hamill? Because I hold this performance in high regard.
I think we all had a point in our lives where we were familiar with this Joker, especially if you saw Justice League Animated Series, or all those are the Batman Animated Series, or the occasional Batman Animated movie. When you find out the guy who played Luke Skywalker voices the Joker, you're like, no, they sound nothing alike. There's nothing there. And you watch a video of him doing the recordings, and the man completely loses himself. I mean, we were talking about Zach Galifianakis and how you can kind of hear the fat guy from The Hangover's voice there.
Yes.
Not with this one. And there's something to be said about when I pick up a Joker comic book, or when I read some sort of text box with the Joker.
Okay.
It's Mark Hamill's voice in my head that I read it as. You know? There's some actors, like a Samuel Jackson. If you read something in his voice, you can hear his voice in there. This is the definitive Joker to me, and I'm nowhere but to put him in awesome.
Wow. Yeah. You teased me a bit before this started, so I was thinking, is he going to put Mark Hamill lower than awesome?
Oh, no.
Man, I can't tell you how much I agree with you on this. Let's go ahead and do it. Let's put Mark Hamill on the awesome tier, and I just want to hit on how great this man is as the Joker. And we love him as Luke Skywalker, we really do. But his voice, and the way he plays off Kevin Conroy, but even then, man, he's in these other animated movies with different interpretations, iterations of Batman, and he always manages to make his voice a bit different. He tweaks it, he gets a bit more subtle, he gets a bit more in your face, but I always go back to Batman the Animated Series, and it's the perfect combination of dark, a.k.a., Joaquin Phoenix, a Heath Ledger, and kind of wacky, like a Cesar Romero. And I've never really thought about it, how great he balances the two, but now that I'm sitting here thinking, it might be if not the best quality, but the most comic book accurate Joker we've ever seen. And because of that, I have to put him on the awesome tier, and I'm glad that we both agree, man. He is one of the
Joker
best.
Laugh too.
Yeah, and the best Joker laugh, and that is key. That is very key. It's the best one I've ever heard. Probably the best one we're ever going to hear. So yeah, now let's
let's do this.
Let's go from one end of the spectrum, according to a lot of people, to the other end. Jared Leto, thoughts? What are we going to do with this guy?
Okay, so again, I emphasize back to how you are wanting to tier them as performance. And my thing here when we get to Jared Leto, it is not the man that really hinders this. It's the story and the execution of what they did with him. Because I think his interpretation of the Joker could really have excelled.
Me too.
It still might have been divisive just because he was sort of like this gangster, more of a mob boss. And that is who a Joker could be. He's a man who runs a gang. And
Nicholson does that a bit in the 89 Batman.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So and it's a more modern gangster, maybe like something that we see now where Nicholson was like a classic gangster.
Yes.
But the problem is still, even with that said, it is also a case of we didn't get enough of him to know.
I agree.
And Suicide Squad, which is the only appearance we have of him, right?
Yes, so far.
It was, a total of 7-10 minutes of screen time? And that is just not enough for me to get a handle of it. If he had half a movie to himself or was the main villain for a Batman, we could be in a different conversation, in a different tier.
Of course.
But I'm just going to go with okay on this one.
You're going to go with okay on this one?
I'm going to go with okay.
And I think a lot of that is the material as well, because Heath Ledger only had 20-something minutes in The Dark Knight, maybe 20-something, 30-something. And you look at what Leto does, but I think a lot of it comes down to the writing in the film. And I said this when the movie came out. I said they should have made him the main villain. Yeah. Give him a lot of screen time, get away from the Enchantress, and make it more of a realistic, a grounded take on the Suicide Squad. And that's one reason why I'm so excited for the James Gunn movie. I was leaning into meh.
Wow.
Just because, man, I was so underwhelmed with the performance, and the more that I think about it,
sending out condoms to his co-stars. You know that means he's a great actor.
That's the Joker, man. That's what the Joker does. Here's what I'll do. I'm going to compromise, since you compromised with me on Galifianakis, I'm going to compromise with you, and I'm going to put Leto on the okay tier.
Okay, yeah.
And here's why. Because I think this man got shortchanged. Yeah. I think he got screwed over by the material. I think the movie, because we look down on Suicide Squad so much, not my wife, she loves the movie. Yeah, a lot of people like the movie.
Entertainment in it.
There's definitely entertainment, but it's not the best film, right? So because of that, I think his character and the fact that they cut so many of his scenes, because if we would have gotten all of his scenes, get a bit more meat in that character, and his storyline didn't even really progress that. And I think that's because they cut the movie down so much. I think he got shortchanged. So we're going to place him on the okay tier. I'm more in the meh category still, but I agree with all of your points.
I'll tell you, I doubt it's going to happen. I think there's like a 10% chance. If for some reason they give Leto another chance, another movie,
I'd like to see
he's definitely going higher on the tier list. Because I don't see him getting worse than what happened in Suicide Squad. There's no way you can go down from that.
He is an Oscar winning at this point? An Oscar winning actor, right? As is Joaquin and Heath on that category of acting talent. But Leto, I think he got shortchanged. I really do. I'm not going to sit here and say it was the best performance because it was not. But a lot of that comes down to the material. And I think that's why he's on the okay tier. Now, and I know you like this guy. I know you like this guy. Jack Nicholson's Joker. Go ahead. No. I know you're the Jack Nicholson guy, man.
It might just be because he was my first Joker.
Okay.
He is, as a kid, this was my Batman movie. This is the one I sat down and they popped in and I was completely immersed and I was like, this is Batman. He's a cool guy. And Nicholson, it might just be my nostalgia. It might be, people say if you read the book first, you'll love that. Or if you watch the movie first and then try reading the book, whichever one is your first interpretation of it will probably be your favorite. And that is the case for me and I'll acknowledge that. But you have to remember, when Heath Ledger, before his performance came out, there were fans going crazy saying, you can't beat Nicholson. You're going to try to compare? No one's going to beat this man's performance. He will always be God tier. And that's something to be said. Just because someone managed to upstage him does not devalue what he brought to the table and everything he did. And I like the 50s type of gangster that he is and everything he brings. And I also love the makeup they did with him and that perma smile that he has.
Yes.
And also his chemistry with Batman is some of the best I've seen. ever. You wouldn't hit a guy with glasses and all that stuff. So I'm going to go awesome.
Okay.
But we'll debate on this. I'm sure we will. Go ahead, Austin.
You know what?
I'm out of here.
No, don't leave, Chris. Don't leave. Listen, I really like this Joker. I do.
Okay.
I can't quite get to love.
Okay.
I can't quite get to love. So, and here's why.
That's what your wife said.
I think... Don't you do that to me, Chris.
Just kidding.
Not another one. But here's why. Here's why. I like the movie a lot. I think the movie's really good. I think Nicholson as this character is great, and I think his Joker is great. It comes down to the fact that I see Jack Nicholson when I watch that movie.
Really? Okay.
And maybe it's because I have seen so many incarnations of not just this character, but so many.
He's good at being crazy.
He's good at being crazy, of course. But I've seen so many Jack Nicholson roles where he plays similar. I mean, even something like The Shining, he plays a similar character.
Yeah.
I see Jack Nicholson. I love their chemistry. I love it. You wouldn't hit a guy with glasses. That line is phenomenal. And I love so many elements of this character. And maybe it's just my love for Heath Ledger. And I see Heath Ledger now, and I'm just like, he just doesn't hold a candle to Heath Ledger. And even getting into like a Mark Hamill, I'm like, I can't quite get him there either. So here's what I'll do. I was hinging on good and great. I was hinging. I think you've talked me up to great. I don't know if I can get higher than great. What do you say to that?
Your channel, your rules, so I guess...
Listen, if you feel strongly enough, I want you to argue.
I really do, but I understand the shortcomings, and I get you what you mean about that, so I'll be fine with great.
You're fine with great.
I still consider him one of the greats.
One of the greats.
That's fine.
And that's good, man. Listen, there are so many, and I think a lot of people that are watching this that kind of grew up with that Batman movie are going to just reach across and smack me right in the face right now. But it all comes down to nostalgia. Which Joker are you nostalgic for? Like, I watched Nicholson's Joker growing up, but then I saw Heath's, and I'm just like, I just breathed in new air, man. It's like a new life into the character. So while I was hinging on good, you definitely, you're talking me up in certain regards in some of these characters. So we're going to go great. I think that's the compromise. But keep in mind, guys, it's still great.
It's great.
It's great. How many Batman villains from that iteration can we put on great, really? Especially once you get into the Riddlers and the Two-Faces and the Mr. Freezes. He stands tall above the rest.
He really does.
So that's impressive, man. Now.
Okay.
We're getting into the good stuff. Now, Joaquin, we're going to talk about him last because he has the newest movie. Let's talk about Heath Ledger.
Heath Ledger.
How you feeling about Heath Ledger?
So I rewatched The Dark Knight in preparation for the Joker because it is regarded as the best Joker performance we've gotten. He won an Oscar for it. You know, some people say it's only because he passed away. I don't believe that. I think he definitely earned it.
I agree with you.
This right here, he breaks all the rules for a Joker. And that is interesting to me. That, you know, you love a character for being a certain way, for his sort of mannerisms and his ways of doing things, and someone took that character and said, I'm gonna do almost the opposite, but he stayed true to who the Joker was. Maniacal, doing stuff for almost no reason, having no clear motive, and some of those lines he throws at Christian Bale's Batman, like I was telling you the other day, where he tells him, he's like, I think you and me are destined to do this forever. Yeah. That's not just Christopher Nolan understanding the dynamic of Batman and the Joker. This guy is the Joker, and yeah, I'm not gonna lie, he's awesome.
Okay, you're gonna put him on the awesome tier?
Yes.
Well, y'all know. Listen, this is the most obvious. Like, okay, do I even have to say anything? Because all I do on my channel is talk about Heath Ledger's Joker, because it is my favorite performance of all time. It's my number one, man.
He's great.
Because what he does for a character that I already love, and the fact that he changed it up so much, and I have similar thoughts on Joaquin's, but the fact that he changed it up so much, and I still loved it to the degree that I did, and I'm just, every second of screen time, I'm captivated. And to see a guy sink into a role like that and not send condoms to his castmates and not annoy people on set, it's like, all right, I think he did it the right way. Now, it's unfortunate what happened to him.
Yeah.
And really, I mean, rest in peace in the ultimate regard, because the guy's an acting force. And you see it in this performance, you see it in Brokeback Mountain, you see it in all the movies that he starred in. He's a great actor, man.
And he disappeared in the role.
He's
did. Unrecognizable. Not even because of the makeup, just himself was like, who is this man?
Even the scene where he has, you know, it's his normal face, no makeup on.
You can't even tell that.
I'm like, who is that? That's not Heath Ledger. And we don't know his name. And that's the mystery aspect of the Joker, too.
And that's the understanding of the character.
Yes, yeah, and they get it, and I think they capture it perfectly, man. So Heath Ledger, we're not going to actually rank these 1 through 7 at the end, but if we had to, I mean, it's going to be difficult to top him. But we did get another Joker movie that dropped this week, Chris. What are we going to do, man? I mean, we've only seen the movie once. Here's the thing with these other movies. I've seen Suicide Squad 3 times. So I'm confident in my thoughts on all of these.
Yeah.
What do we do with Joaquin?
Okay. There's something to be said about these actors portraying the Joker, and we have yet to receive what I consider a bad performance.
Yeah.
A performance where it's like, that was, oh my god, Topher Grace's Venom. No offense to Topher Grace, but...
It wasn't the best.
It wasn't the best.
Wasn't the best.
So with that said, Joaquin Phoenix, world-class actor, really great, for sure put everything he could into this Joker.
Yeah, man.
My issue with this is gonna be, and I know...
Oh.
Because if we're talking performance, he gave a great performance.
He did.
If he wins an Oscar, I won't be surprised. I'll applaud him, and I think he deserved it.
Yes.
Issue.
Okay.
This is more Arthur Fleck than the Joker.
Yeah, I'm with you.
Honestly, which is funny because this is a whole solo movie of the Joker, this Joker has about or less as much screen time as Jared Leto. Because the majority of this movie is this man with mental health issues.
Okay.
Who just happens to represent traits of the Joker by the end of it.
So you're saying once he is the Joker, less screen time. And it does take a bit to get there without spoiling anything.
Yeah.
I'm with you. It is an Arthur Fleck story.
So, with that said, I don't know if it's kind of a cheat to say we really got a great, meaty Joker performance when it was more of this one person before the Joker, It's kind of like... It's kind of like if we watched the Batman movie of his journey traveling, country to country, learning martial arts, doing all this, and then at the very last 10 minutes, he's Batman and say, that's the best Batman we've seen. Where it's like...
A bit of Batman Begins in there, what you said, but we get an entire act of Batman as opposed to 10 minutes.
And that's the difference. So, with that said,
and
it sucks that we might not get a sequel, not giving anything away. The studio has said themselves... He won't be meeting Robert Pattinson's Batman.
Yeah. Joaquin came out and said, no.
Yeah, and it's the same reason he didn't get the role of Doctor Strange, because he doesn't want to appear in multiple roles.
One
he
movie
wants
kind
to
of
do
guy.
one and move on to the next thing.
He's out.
So with that said, I can only put it as great.
You're going to put it as great?
As great. Just because it was a little screen time, but the performance is undeniable in those 10 minutes of how amazing he is.
And I think that's what's getting me to awesome. It is... Because what I saw in this film, and it's going to be hard to kind of step around what I'm trying to say without spoiling anything.
Yeah.
I saw the perfect building blocks for the Jokers. I saw every single story beat, everything that happened to him. It's like, well, that's why the Joker does this in 10 years. Well, that's why the Joker feels this way. Well, that's why the Joker resents certain other characters in the universe. Because the building blocks, the steps in his life that are taken in this movie, it's just like, oh, you see that, and you see that, and you see that, and you dive into his backstory. And I never wanted a backstory for the Joker.
I never either.
I don't want to know where he comes from because of Heath Ledger. But then you start thinking about comics, and it's like, well, you have a Joker over here, you have a Joker over here, you have a Joker over there. We have different incarnations of the Joker. This is a Joker that if he continued... I think would easily be the greatest Joker of all time.
Even though they ruined the mystery and told us exactly beat for beat how this one came to be, and I was very afraid of that, they did it as best as I possibly could have enjoyed, to where it's like, you ruined the mystery of the Joker to me, but I like this Joker.
Mm-hmm. So I performance-wise, mixed with all of those elements, mixed with what I could foresee this Joker being in time, I want to go awesome tier. Okay. What do you say to that?
Again, it's just my thing.
And especially because if he does end up winning the Oscar, which there's a high possibility, then I'm going to look back at this video and be like, how could I not? Because I was fringing on great because of what you said, man. It is an Arthur Fleck story.
Other things here to consider, not just performance-wise. Also, you got to respect where it came from and who the essence of the Joker is. There's certain things.
Of course.
Be honest with me. Could you see this Joker filling up some sort of mastermind plan to stump Batman? In the same way Heath Ledger's in that movie did the whole boat sequence or did multiple bombs, blowing up a hospital.
Yeah.
Things that the Joker is known for. You have to remember, if this is setting up a Joker, can you see this one actually being trouble for Batman other than just an annoyance?
I I see this one as more of an enhanced version of Jack Nicholson.
Okay.
That's what I see.
Really?
I see a leader, like a gangster, not gangster, just this leader of a tribe of an army, whatnot. This is spoiling nothing for the movie, but to take on what the Batman is. I don't see him doing what the Heath Ledger Joker did, but I don't necessarily think that makes him less of a Joker. I see him taking a different route, if you will. Maybe even like a Dark Knight Returns, more of a mental game with Batman.
But see, that's the thing. Does he? Because this is a man with mental health issues. That's not a spoiler or anything. That they say that in the trailer. So in that essence, it's kind of like a handicap. And I'm trying to stumble here, not to do anything rude. But
yeah, it's.
But if I put all these Jokers in a room with a Batman, I think he'd be the first to lose.
Really?
Just because he doesn't have. I don't think he's got the fighting ability.
No, that's true.
I don't think he's got the brain smarts to pull off a quick scheme to throw off Batman.
Okay.
I just think he is great at giving a Joker performance. I don't know if that makes any sense, but that's my thing. I feel all these other guys could last at least 5-10 minutes with a Batman.
Okay.
Where he would probably be stumped within a minute. I don't know. That's
Here's what I want to do.
Okay.
I don't want to get him below awesome, but I don't want you to get him.
No.
Let's create a middle tier between great and awesome.
We don't take
let's
middle
do something
grounds
crazy,
here.
dude. I want to create a middle tier. What do you think?
What would we call it?
I don't know. We need to think of
the
a good
middle
name.
tier.
What is between great and awesome? Because I am so like
Grossum. There he goes.
So that's what we'll do, Chris. We're going to call this Grossum. 1, because we can't agree.
Okay.
And 2, because I see your points.
Yeah.
I see exactly what you're saying, man. I see a performance that I think outweighs what you said about the Joker, as in, maybe he's not the best foil to the Batman.
Yeah.
Now, we didn't see this Joker take on the Batman, but it's an origin story for a Joker that, one would think would eventually take on a Batman, right? And maybe he's not the best.
I just don't.
I kind of agree with you there, and that's why I don't want to talk you. I don't want to talk you up, because you make some phenomenal points, man.
Oh, thank you.
So because you're welcome. So because 1, I always introduce an extra tier into my videos, and I didn't think I would be able to do that today. 2, I think that's a pretty solid, because here's what I say to that. We've had Heath, we've had Mark Hamill around for a long time. We've had Joaquin around for -1 days because the movie's not out yet.
Yeah, exactly.
The movie has not had a wide release. Maybe in time, maybe down the road, we look back and we're like, that has gotten better. It's grown.
That weekend Heath came out, there was still, people were like, nah, Nicholson is still better right
Nicholson,
now.
yes. That's a great point.
And over time, people realized, you know what? He did sort of overpass Nicholson.
So we're going to see how he fares. We're going to see how he fares at the Oscars. We're going to see what this performance is being talked about 6 months from now. Yeah. And maybe it could get better. Maybe it can get on that awesome tier. But right now, we just created a new word, Chris.
Grossum.
It's grossum.
There we go.
You know why? Because this is our video, and we can take the short way out. We can take the shortcut.
But my mind is open. If you guys down below want to convince me against my argument and stuff, I'd be more than happy to. Like I said, because I was a stubborn one when when Heath Ledger's came out. And I was like, Nicholson still got it for him, but there's an
time, man.
It's the stubbornness of like, I love Nicholson.
Yeah.
But Heath is pretty great.
And it's hard to admit things like that, too. It's like, even I was going in a bit hesitant with Joaquin. I'm like, and I still can't, here I'm going to reveal myself, I still can't put Joaquin over Heath. Yeah. But a lot of that's nostalgia.
It's nostalgia.
And you also have to keep in mind, this guy has an entire movie to himself. Heath had 20-something minutes.
That speaks to something.
And it does. So the comparison game, it's kind of not fair to compare the two. But guess what? This is a Joker video comparing. We still did it. We still did it. Oh my goodness, Chris. This was a massive video, man. Dude.
Thank you. I hope it wasn't too long.
I don't think so, man. Listen, this was awesome. I had a great time talking with you. I love the conversation. And I definitely want you all to get down below and let me know which Joker's your favorite, which Joker's your least favorite. Chris, what do you got going on, man? Where can people find you in the YouTube space?
Thank you for having me, Austin. You can find me at youtube.com/3cfilms or follow me on Twitter at 3cfilmreview. Really love what Austin does here. That's why I had him come over to Dallas so he can see the Joker a little early. So, thank you.
You're very welcome, man. And be sure to go check out our podcast that we're doing together on YouTube, Film strippers.
Now be careful when you search that.
Yeah, just don't type it into Google. Just type it into YouTube.
I think it also will have a link. So just
yeah,
play safe with the link.
Click the link. It's not a bad link. It's a good link. But thank you guys so much for watching this video and subscribing to my channel. Thank you guys for all of your support on Patreon, for what you do. Hey, if you enjoyed this, be sure to leave it a thumbs up, and we will definitely have more Joker content coming soon. We do have a spoiler review coming out at some point within the next couple of days. And, of course, some Netflix stuff. You guys know what I do on this channel. Thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you very soon.